Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast. I'm going to let you into a little secret. For the last 2 months, I've had a nasty niggling problem with my website, techblogwriter.co.uk, where at random intervals, the code on the site would break and put images all over the place and make it look like a website from 1996. And I had to manually clear the cache, which seemed to fix the problem until it would return again in 3, 5, 6, 9, 15, 36 hours. It was completely random. But thankfully, I think I've finally got to the bottom of the problem. So today, your podcast host is a very happy man. But if you do notice it again, please let me know. But enough of my website issues. We got a show to do. And I recently discovered a company called Conga, whose study with Vanson Bourne found that the key to unlocking the potential of digital transformation, which is something that organisations spend countless hours at every day, may easily overlook something. Documents. In fact, documents are so imperative to a business's success that according to the research, 89% of organisations say the key to a successful digital transformation is simply getting to grip on those everyday documents. And just this week, and in the last couple of weeks, Conga announced an integration with Salesforce Manufacturing Cloud to help manufacturing companies better their sales processes and achieve greater visibility in the contract process, which is another key step in the successful digital transformation. So with these two big talking points that are a huge deal at the moment across multiple industries, my curiosity was officially open. So I thought I would get them on the podcast today to talk about all this and much more. So come with me to the US to find out more. So a massive warm welcome back to the show, Daniel. But for anyone that missed our previous conversation, can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. And my name is Daniel Incandela. I am based in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'm lucky enough to be the Chief Marketing Officer at Conga. Conga, we are the leader in digital document transformation, where we simplify and automate documents, contracts, e-signatures, and the processes behind them.
I'm genuinely excited to get you back on today because it seems that every business at the moment is on that digital transformation journey, and we're hearing about it all the time on our news feeds and timelines. And one of the main reasons I'm excited is because I read your recent study that Conga did with, I think it was Vanson Bourne, and it found that the key to unlocking the potential of digital transformation is something organizations spend countless hours every day but actually might completely overlook. I mean, can you expand on some of those findings?
Well, if you think about it, businesses across the board of any type, they run on documents. So it's not surprising to think that as all these companies undergo their own versions of digital transformation, that documents are going to play a critical part of that because, one, it's how they do business. It can be a tedious process at times, requiring countless humans to touch and check things. And there's time that's wasted where you're waiting on either an edit or an e-signature in order to move on to the next thing. So what we're trying to do at Conga is simplify that process, make it easier for people to shift from the tedious side of things to allow companies to spend more time thinking about strategy and less time thinking about documents.
And what really struck me with the research and the results there, and one of the things that really, really stood out for me was that 89% of organizations say the key to successful digital transformation is getting a grip on their everyday documents. But I think it was just last week, Conga announced an integration with Salesforce Manufacturing Cloud to help manufacturing companies better their sales processes and achieve greater visibility in the contract process. So I've got to ask, did the study actually play a big part in Conga actually creating this solution to tackle the problem head on?
I would say it's a little bit like the chicken and the egg. You know, we certainly believe in what we're doing. We believe that documents are a critical part of digital transformation. It's why we've built this company. It's why we built the solutions for our customers and why we believe they resonate so well. But as we are driving towards this digital document transformation, we at least wanted to have real research that we could speak to. One, we thought it would confirm our thinking, but we also wanted to be totally agnostic and listen to what the industry was saying. So we wanted to understand this, one, so that we were aligning with what people are saying across the world when it comes to digital transformation. And two, so it can help shape what we do in the future. And the fact is, one of the most amusing stats from this study is that of the 2,500-ish people we surveyed, 14% of them are still using typewriters. And that to me is amazing because I have a 10-year-old son who now searches using Siri. It's all voice.
Yeah.
And we're dealing with really, really successful companies that are trying to move fast, but are kind of stuck with really old processes.
Well, that's insane, isn't it? I know there's a few fax machines out there still, but typewriters, I think. And my next question was going to be, can you help people listening visualize why you think the digital transformation starts with the digital document transformation, DDX? But that kind of highlights the problem perfectly, doesn't it?
I think so. And if you think about, we often say that businesses run on documents, but if you think about all the different stakeholders and departments across a company, whether it's HR, finance, legal, sales, marketing, and so on, we all author, create, and manage documents. And often it's saved on a desktop or somewhere else. There's no way to track edits in a seamless way. There's no way to track once it's sent out to see if it's been signed or not. It's a mess. And if I think about the people that have to manage that and the hours per week that it takes for them to manage and ensure accuracy, let alone ensure that a legal contract being sent out is 100% accurate, it's a little scary. So what we're trying to do is make it easy for people. The biggest thing we can do as a company is streamline the process, provide accuracy, and a little joy when it comes to managing documents, so the people running their teams can focus on the bigger things. And at this point, the most important thing they can focus on is developing new strategies for their companies, not ensuring that a clause within a contract is 100% accurate. We have technology that can do that for them.
And I'm curious, as someone that's seen this happen so many times in the corporate world, where a company can have a perfectly good document management software, but they're still scanning, printing, filing away in numerous other places, double handling, because that's the way it's always worked. Is that still happening as well, or are people finally moving away from that?
Well, we just talked about typewriters. You mentioned fax machines. There was a large number of our respondents still using traditional filing cabinets. So I'd say it is still happening. And if you think about what the future holds, in our space, the talk is still data. Data is the most valuable resource that we have, and so on. And contained within every document that a company produces is really valuable data. And not just a contract, it's offer letters, it's NDAs, it's a marketing deck that's sent out. It could be a sales agreement, you name it. But within all of these documents is really valuable data for the company and data that can be extracted to define strategies.
And for people that are relatively new to this podcast, they probably missed our original conversation a few months ago. I think it was episode 853, where we talked about how Conger is using AI and machine learning to unlock actionable business insights from digital documents and contracts, etc. But I'm conscious, for anyone that missed that conversation, can you tell me a little bit more about how Conger incorporated available technology to create a platform that goes further than any other player that's out there to automate and accelerate the creation and management of this critical business paperwork that we're talking about?
Yeah, I'll go to what I think is the best example here. Is if I imagine being on the legal team of a massive company that is overseeing thousands upon thousands of contracts. The thought of having to manually know every contract and ensure that it is accurate is really terrifying to me. And so when we talk about the power of data contained within documents, that's a really great example. And so our artificial intelligence solution allows us to help with that issue, ensuring that whatever is being prepared or shared with a client or sent outside of the building to someone is going to have the correct clauses or legal language or numbers and so on. Again, so that one, you're ensuring that you're not going to mess up, because we don't want you to mess up at your job. We want you to do really well. And secondly, we strongly believe that your time should be used on more important things, like really thinking about the future and how you can optimize your business.
So when it comes to the challenges that businesses and your customers are facing, I'm curious, are there any trends that you're seeing around culture change and finally retiring those archaic processes, legacy apps and the old way of working? Are there any trends around that?
The most exciting trend I see, it's hard to tie to a specific number, but when I talk to our customers, what I am seeing are these real heroes within organizations that are driving the digital transformation. We call them our agents of change, because I've met so many customers using Conga that have almost single-handedly driven massive change across slow-moving organizations that have siloed departments and traditionally have not worked well together. And they have driven their own transformation across the company to speed up processes, save money, and again, save time. We want people to really have the time to sit back and think about the future, not get caught up in the day-to-day activities of reviewing documents or chasing down an e-signature. So what I'm seeing is that it only takes one person within an organization to drive massive change. And I've been lucky enough to meet a number of our customers that have done that really, really well.
I'm conscious we have talked about a lot of the challenges and problems in the area, but on a much more positive note, the study suggests that digital transformation efforts are finally paying off, with 95% of respondents saying that they have having at least some level of success, and 99% they have experienced at least one significant benefit. I mean, do you have any other stats or stories to share on that front that kind of bring the study to life and the progress that you're making?
So you and I have already talked a lot about, documents are such a critical part of the overall transformation journey within a company. And the stats seem to back that up. Almost every company right now is embracing some form of digital transformation because it's the way they are going to survive and flourish in the future. What we're seeing is that, transforming document processes is key to achieving the organizational wide goals, and that 87% say that it enables employees to work on more strategic, fulfilling work. And I've mentioned that a lot in this conversation, is that we want our customers and future customers to have time to think, to actually do their jobs really well. And part of what we're doing is helping the organization set up the processes and scale in order to be able to do that. And I think that's really the future, is the successful companies are going to come in and help individuals install their own version of digital transformation in order to allow them to become a lot more strategic. And that's when we're going to see the biggest growth, I think.
And as part of the Conger Digital Document Transformation Suite, I read how Conger contracts for the Salesforce Manufacturing Cloud is actually aiming to bring together and simplifying the whole contracting process and the sales agreement performance tracking process. But can you expand on that just for people that missed that announcement?
Yeah, so, we are fortunate to call Salesforce a wonderful partner. We have a number of products within their ecosystem and a number of shared important big customers doing great work. And it goes back to simplifying the process. The Salesforce CRM and other CRMs is one of the most important platforms within any company, and any product that can play very well with a CRM, streamline processes, make things a lot easier, integrate really well, and then output seamlessly to the customer, is going to have a really big impact. And what we've seen in our relationship with Salesforce, and and since Conga was born as a company, is that when you do that really well, it resonates very nicely with customers. And so this is just another extension of how we're trying to lead within our own digital document transformation to make the lives of our customers as easy as possible.
Excellent. And unfortunately, I didn't make it to Dreamforce this year. And I know that you were there only last week. Were there any big takeaways or anything that particularly stood out from you from the event?
Two things that simply are not going away. Data is how we're going to stay on top and find the insights to make the best decisions. So I think data is not going away in any way. And then digital transformation, you would think at this point that would be an older term and that, everyone would have figured that out, but they're not. And so if all the keynotes at Dreamforce, all of the booths, all of the conversations are centered around like, how do we figure out transformation internally so that we can scale, so we do have more time to think, to make things easier and make them less tedious. And for me, those were the big two takeaways, things that, data and digital transformation, which we've all been talking about now for years, is still very much in vogue. And I think it's because we've not figured it out yet. We're still trying to figure all of this stuff out.
So last week was Dreamforce. This week, as we're recording this, we've got the run up to Thanksgiving. And of course, we're only a matter of weeks away before we enter 2020, which completely blows my mind. But is there anything else you can share about what you'll be focusing on in 2020 and indeed beyond?
We just launched our State of Digital Document Transformation, which if anyone is interested in some light reading, you can go to conga.com to read. We'll be developing a lot more content for next year that is in line with the industry of what people are talking about. We believe we are the leaders in digital document transformation, but we also want to provide the research for anyone interested to understand what we are trying to figure out as well, because we want to help people. So there'll be more content. At the end of February, we will be having our annual user conference in Orlando, Florida, February 26th through 28th, Conga Connect, where we'll be making some pretty exciting product announcements. So I'm not going to give too much away, but I'm excited about how we're going to be starting off next year with both content and some product innovation to keep telling our story.
Oh, I do love a good teaser at the end of a podcast. Keep us wanting more. God bless you, Daniel. So, huge thank you for coming on today. Before I do let you go, there'll be people listening want to find out more about that conference, download the report, or maybe even just contact a member of your team if they've got any further questions about the digital transformation of documents or anything else. So what's the best? Can you just point them in the direction of the best way of finding all that information?
Yeah, it's simple. Go to conga.com and you can live chat with us. You can telephone us, or you can download everything that we've discussed in this episode. We'd love to see you online.
I think one thing that needs pointing out, because there's a lot of talk around the digital transformation at the moment, but it's not a destination. It's an ongoing journey that's going to take years and years. And it's great to see the journey that you guys are taking. And it sounds like there's a hell of a lot more to come. So thanks for sharing that with me. I'd love to speak with you again next year and find out that exciting information. But more than anything, just a big thank you for joining me today on the run up to Thanksgiving. So thanks again, Daniel.
Thank you, Neil. It's always lovely talking with you, and thanks for having me.
Conga is a leader in end-to-end AI-powered digital document transformation. And yes, the Conga suite helps to simplify user experiences and increase productivity. But the big takeaway of the podcast for me is the digital transformation starts with digital document transformation, DDX. And that includes everything from sales proposals, contracts, employer offer letters, documents. Documents are the core of every business transaction. And without digital document transformation, documents are stuck on paper, which, as we all know, causes a lot of drag and leaving room for the dreaded human error that's caused by those manual tasks, which, if left unmonitored, can lead to audits, missing contract clauses, and even lawsuits. And it's always fascinated me with how businesses get carried away with new shiny technology solutions and buzzwords such as digital transformation. But the reality is at the heart of this trending topic is digital document transformation. And wherever you listen to this podcast in the world, I'm sure you have more than a few war stories of clunky document management systems and teams that add to the system and still scan, print and store those printed copies somewhere else just because that's the way they've always done it. I mean, what happened to the paperless office we were promised 20 years ago? But I will get off my soapbox and ask you to share your experiences and share your document management tales by simply emailing me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, or tweeting me at Neil C. Hughes. I'm incredibly intrigued and curious on the kind of stories that you're going to share with me, but keep them coming in, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow. So thanks for listening as always, and until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.